Hello friends, welcome back to Mike Reads the World. Today we're going to the country of Haiti with Massacre River by René Philoctete. And I was going to do this tomorrow, but I'm hoping that by doing this video I can um, purge some of this book from my head so that it doesn't give me nightmares, because it is really a nightmarish fever dream, surreal, but very uh, powerful book. Like, the short way I can describe it, it's like it's about the 1937 massacre of Haitians, due to the genocidal tactics of a Dominican Republic dictator, Trujillo, who was in power for a long time, like at least 20 to 30 years, I think. Um, and this dictator, yeah, used genocidal tactics basically against, sent soldiers to kill Haitians near the border of the Dominican Republic, uh, right along the border with Haiti. And this happened in 1937, so it's based on a real historical event. And we get a lot of atmosphere of, not just the violent moments, but just the landscapes. We get a lot of atmosphere of just what the town is like, the music that comes out of the pubs, um, just the impressions of life. It's very stream of conscious, very surreal. But yeah, the short one sentence version is it's like a painting, a painting of a horrific, a detailed painting of a horrific scene that you see in an art museum, and you can't tell exactly what's going on, but you can tell something horrible is happening, and then that image just does not leave your head. And then there's also kind of like some surreal elements to that painting, some surreal symbolism. So think of the painter you want to with that. In fact, actually, the cover art, I'm not even sure who did it, is very apt, I think, and very much describes what it's like to read the book. Nothing is defined too clearly, um, but the images are strong and bold and stay with you after reading it. I had to go back after finishing it and reread multiple parts, and finally, I think I have a good idea of what happened. At least to the best of my ability, I think, because we start the book off with a giant black thing hovering in the sky. Or I don't even know if it's giant. It's just this black thing hovering in the sky that is described alternatively. No one knows what it is, but it's described as a bird, a kite, a device. And you're immediately in the beginning of this book almost like, I'm reading about a historical event, but is this like science fiction or some surrealist fantasy? I'm not gonna use the word magical realism. Besides, right now, it is not that. It is. I don't think it is. At least, I did not get Gabriel Garcia Marquez vibes. I didn't get any of that stuff that I usually get with stuff that I would, hear termed that. This is like surrealism. It's closer to surrealism than anything else, or stream of consciousness, um, mixing in sort of witchcraft and science fiction language, but all done in a very poetic way. Really, it almost feels like reading this is like one long stream of consciousness poem. Um, and it mainly follows, there's really four major characters. There is the a Haitian woman named Adele, who's married to a man from the Dominican Republic. So this husband and wife, they're some of the main characters. The husband works in a factory of some sorts, and or I can't remember if it's a factory plantation or something, but he's working like to strike with some of the other workers and kind of trying to better their working conditions. Um, and she is staying at home and told to take a sedative. And that's when are really going off the rails. So I don't know if this is a spoiler because this is just my interpretation of what happened. It's definitely not clear, but I think she goes to sleep and has this insane fever dream of of getting her head cut off with a machete, and then her head like wandering around the entire village. I think that's what's going on. I mean, like, that's definitely what happens, but what's real and what isn't is so um, difficult to figure out in this book. Sorry, I just had to adjust because my foot was falling asleep. Um, so yeah, that's my interpretation. Then the other main characters are the president. So in some ways, this has elements of the dictator novel, like El Presidente uh, by Miguel Ángel Asturias, or uh, uh, was it the president? El Señor Presidente in Spanish it is. And then Yo el Supremo, or I the Supreme from Paraguay, two books that I am very likely to be reading in this project. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So it has elements of the dictator novel, and I'm familiar with that sort of genre as being a Latin American thing. So that's kind of where you get some of this book is from the perspective of the dictator Trujillo. And then one of his military commanders, who is, we get the perspective of the person doing the massacring and some of their stream of consciousness. And those are very disturbing scenes. This is not a book for the faint of heart. There's nothing is off limits. The book pulls no punches and describes, very vicious thoughts while not actually necessarily describing things that really happen. It's this kind of chaos, this poetic chaos of thoughts and images and feelings. But I still think it's extraordinary. I think it's a book that I would read again, and I think it's an important work that more people should know about, because I don't see a whole lot of discussion on the internet about this book, and I think it really has the potential to rise to the heights of classics in world literature if more people are able to know about it and read it. Sometimes, a lot of people talk about how classics are classics for a reason. I do it too. I believe in the idea of the classics, but I also think there's a lot of books that could become classics that aren't, that don't, simply by bad luck, or not enough people end up reading them, or they don't get published enough. Um, I mean, there's great books that get forgotten, is what I'm saying. Um, but most classics, I think, are great books. So that's what I'm trying to say. This book wasn't actually my first idea to read for Haiti. I was actually going to read Edwidge Dentcat's Claire of the Sea Light, and I got a good way through it. Uh, well, let me start. The reason I picked that one up very early on in this Reading the World project is I was looking for something for Haiti that would not be sort of like your typical, I don't know, just gangs and bad things happening and just like earthquake and like disaster and disaster. I wanted to see a more just a day-to-day life side of Haiti. And this book had a little bit of it, but I don't know why it just didn't come off as like totally genuine to me. I couldn't like it started really good, but then it kept switching to other characters, and then the main character of the book became like uh, this guy who splits his time between Miami and Haiti. So I really felt like I was getting pulled away from what I was really looking for in the book. And maybe that's reflective of the author's experience too, because I think she has lived in the United States for most of her life. Um, so anyway, but doing a little bit more research, I was like, okay, there's also Hadriana in All My Dreams is a very interesting looking book from Haiti. So if you're interested in Haitian literature, I would recommend looking into that one too. Also, Edwidge Danticat has a lot of other books, and she's a well-established author, but I was looking for something a little bit more classic, I guess, and a little like the roots of Haitian literature, and ideally from a Haitian who had lived there most of their life. So Hadriana and all My Dreams came up. I don't know much about that one. And then also Massacre River, who Edwidge Danticat did write a preface. There's a short preface by her for this English translation. I think I already mentioned the translation is excellent, by Linda Coverdale, who's also done The Blinding Absence of Light, which is by a Moroccan author. So I'm sorry if I repeated that. I think I might have repeated that. I'm not sure. But so yeah, this book, give it a try if you're interested in Haitian literature. I'm glad that I was led to it, and it's left me with so much. So I mean, to talk about just some other things in it, like the elements of the dictator novel. This President Trujillo, this dictator Trujillo, is obsessed with this citadel. And this is one of the things where the footnotes in the book really help. There's not many footnotes, but there's like maybe 20, 25, but they're all very detailed. So they give you like background history and very important information. So you're not going to be flipping to the back of the book very often. And I think I only did it for like 5 or 6 of the 25 footnotes that there are, but they were all very helpful. The citadel is an important symbol in the book that the president has been obsessed with since he was a kid. And I don't know if this is a real thing, but this citadel, this is like a fortress that one of the colonial French leaders built in Haiti on a mountaintop, and this is a symbol to Trujillo. He wants it, and I think it represents to him this idea of wanting to unite the whole island, to be the ruler of the whole island, which he realizes he can never have. And by the way, Trujillo was helped and instated by the United States from what I gathered. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a case where my country really created a monster in the Dominican Republic, and there are other examples of that too. I won't shy away from saying that. So that was a really compelling symbol in the novel. There's of course parts of the novel that really get surreal, and this is, I suppose, if you're already excited about the book, just go read it. I guess I'm just talking to finish getting my ideas out about what I read, but there's parts where like all these heads, these decapitated heads, are like wandering around the this town or this city, and and it's mostly from the perspective of Adele, and she, like, I don't know if she dreams herself or it really happens, where she's killed by this commander of the president wielding a machete, and the machete is somehow tied to this dark figure that's in the sky, which is a portent of death, I suppose, if we use the simplest possible symbol. And but then at the end, she's alive and well, and her husband comes back from work and grabs her. And again, spoilers. I already said that, but it's like I still am not 100% sure of what I'm saying, that this is really what happened in the book. It's just that is how surreal it is. So it's that kind of book. Like if you are really interested in it, um, and basically the only, you know, I don't know if all of these descriptions of death and everything in the action of the actual book, I almost feel like they are happening before the events themselves and their premonitions. So we're getting the stream of consciousness of all the characters that are going to be involved or potentially involved in the massacre of 1937. But their thoughts and their consciousness are already are giving form to the events that are going to happen. But our husband and wife um, are still able to get away at the end of the book. But I think Adele has this sort of like dreamlike vision of what's going to happen if she doesn't get away. And it does accurately reflect the experience of at least 30,000 Haitians that are going to be killed in these events. At least that's what I think. That's what I think. Uh, I gotta read this again if I ever want to like give a serious talk about what happened, because I just don't know. And there's very little out there that like is just going to explain to you what happens in this book. This is my take on it after reading it through once and then going back and rereading nearly half of it, the parts, basically searching through the book, just trying to find clues and trying to put the puzzle pieces and the symbolism together through this beautifully translated poetic language from French. Yeah. So that is Massacre River by René Philoctete. Again, sorry for the pronunciation if I got it wrong. I highly recommend this book from Haiti if it sounds like a kind of book that you can stomach, and you are okay with books that leave you putting the pieces together yourself. And so, in that sense, I suppose there's some who would call this a novella instead of a novel. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time. Today's house plant, not really a plant of the week, is my Schefflera tree here, which you can barely see in the dark. So, maybe I'll show you some other day, but yeah, that's the house plant of the week. Bye.